Let's talk about preserving meat and how you can extend its shelf life. I've been very fascinated with different ways you can preserve meat. This is an experiment that I've been working on for a while now. You might be wondering why it's so black on the outside. It's actually because I've coated it with a black bean paste. It's this black bean paste that I slather all over the piece of meat, so the salt from the black beans pretty much cure it and prevent any mold or bacteria from growing. About 2 weeks or so in the fridge, it ends up looking like this. Here's a raw slice. You can eat it as is. Here's a cooked piece. Oh, it's so good. I want to explore other forms of preserving meat, so you can salt it, dry it, smoke it. You can can it and do all sorts of other stuff with it. And so this is just the beginning. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. This was actually inspired by biltong. I've made biltong several times in the past, and I thought, why not just slather some black bean paste on it? And when I made my biltong, I used the same process. I just seasoned it, and I just put it on a rack in my fridge for about a couple weeks. Once it's lost most of its moisture, I just take it out, slice it up, and eat it. You can also hang the biltong up in a nice cool area where there's lots of airflow. That's usually how it's traditionally made. A lot of people are saying you should cut out the outer layer, but I don't think that's really necessary. It's okay to eat. In the next video, I'll talk more about the black bean paste that I use. This is the black bean paste that I use to make this. So this is a Korean black bean paste. It's salty, but it's not overly salty. So I just put a layer of it on top of the meat, and then I just let it sit on a rack for about 2 weeks. Usually about the first week, you want to flip it so the other side gets dry. I'm pretty sure you can use any cut of meat. This right here, I think was some sort of tenderloin. I'm not exactly sure. I'll try to get some meat and do a step-by-step process so you guys can actually do it yourself. Preserving meat with a black soybean paste. It's been about 6 days now, and they're fairly dry now. So this piece here is pretty good. It's thin, so it's dried up pretty quickly. So you can tell, like, it's still pretty soft. You can eat it like this right now and just slice it up and eat it. You can eat it raw or cook it. But I do want to dry this a little bit more. I'm going to leave it in the fridge for about another week or so. If you're new to my page and if you want to know more about this, I have a few other videos in the past that may answer a lot of your questions. Pretty much about in another week or so, once this is ready, I don't need to leave it in the fridge anymore. I can just hang it up, let it dry further if I wanted to. But for the most part, this will keep for about a good year or two. So comment, like, and follow for more stuff like this. Alright, so here's a piece of meat that I've preserved with the black soybean paste. Here's a raw piece, and you can eat this as is. So good. So this is still pretty early. I normally wouldn't eat it like this early. I just wanted to make a video because you guys keep asking for it, and I'm freezing my ass off in the middle of the night just to make this video. So normally I want to dry this a little bit longer. This has only been about 6.5 days. But let's toss a few on the skillet. Here's a cooked piece. It's such a unique flavor. It's so hard to explain, but so good. These are pieces of meat that I've been preserving in a black soybean paste for a few weeks. The salt in the paste cured the meat, and I let it dry for a few weeks. So let's slice into it. Look at this color. It's so amazing. It's so good. Oh my god. It has a really mild, nutty taste. Almost like pistachios or cashews. This curing method is similar to biltong. It's inspired by it, actually. It's like last time, we're going to cook these up in the skillet. I think I like it more when it's cooked because it brings out more of the flavor. Here's a nice cooked piece. I like it cooked more. It has so much more flavor. All you need to do now is just hang it up like this. And there you go, another piece to my collection. Let's eat rotten zombie flesh from Minecraft. I've got a nice piece like this, so let's slice it up and try it. That looks amazing. I was not expecting this color. Alright, let's try it. Mm-hmm. Yup. This is good. It's really good. Look at the color. It's so amazing. For those who are confused, this is actually preserved meat that I made about a month ago. I took slabs of meat and I coated it with a black fermented soybean paste. What I ended up doing was I just let it dry out like this. But this definitely does feel like it's biltong at this point. It's really, really good. If you want to learn how to make this, I have a bunch of videos on it already. Let's preserve some meat. Slice all your meat 3/4 to 1 inch thick. Mix up whatever kind of sauce you want, preferably something salty or acidic. Here are the ingredients, but I don't have any measurements. From here, pour it all over the meat. Be sure everything is coated evenly. Let this marinate for about 2 days. It's been 24 hours. Let's just flip the meat and rotate everything. Marinate it for another 24 hours. These are ready to be dry now. Just put it on a rack or hang this up. Place this in the fridge for 2 to 3 weeks and just let it dry out. I'm gonna hang one up in the shed as an experiment. 2 weeks later, the one hung up in the shed is more evenly dry than the one in the fridge. Let's slice this up and give it a try. Look how amazing that looks. This is my Asian-inspired biltong. Yeah, it's so good. The one in the fridge looks good too. This is a total success. Why doesn't your meat spoil and why is it still edible? That's a common question that I get and I'm going to try to explain it. Humidity or moisture also comes into play. It needs to have a specific moisture content for organisms to grow. If you remove that, then they won't grow. I hate wasting food, but I'm going to spoil one of these just for you. I'm going to place this one in a dish and cover this up and leave it in my shed. I'm going to salt this piece and hang it up. This is 1 week later. Which do you think is edible? This one doesn't even smell. But let's try this one. It's sour. It's gross. It's slimy too. But yeah, this thing smells. It's only been a week. Bacteria and mold didn't even have a chance to grow on this, but this is just full of it. It's gross. So which one would you prefer to eat?